And I think of all the things what you're doing. And I think of all the things what you're doing. Hi singers, and welcome back to Sing with Mimi. Do you ever feel like you have two different voices? There's the strong, confident voice that you hear in your head, the one that you want to share. And then there's the voice that actually comes out, which feels quieter, less certain, and just isn't quite right. Our goal today is to close that gap. We are going to learn a simple technique to help the voice that comes out of your mouth to sound a lot more like that amazing voice in your head. And the secret to finally closing that gap has nothing to do with pushing harder or using more force. Your voice has its own natural power button, a secret setting that can help you unlock incredible clarity and a beautiful resonant tone. In this video, I will teach you what that setting is and guide you through 3 easy exercises to help you find it. This is the key to singing with more confidence, and it is also the essential foundation for more advanced techniques like belting later on. Best of all, you will learn to do this with less effort and absolutely no strain. So if you're ready to finally close that gap and make your voice sound more like that amazing voice in your head, let's start with the big question. Whether we are talking about singing louder through belting or just singing with more presence and clarity, there is one extremely important setting in your voice that you need to learn how to use. And this setting is AES narrowing or vocal twang. When the muscles above our vocal folds connected to the epiglottis, which is the lid of our larynx, contract, they pull the epiglottis inward, narrowing the passage for sound and creating a twang resonance. This is our voice's own natural compressor, or you can think of it as a garden hose. If you narrow the nozzle, the water will shoot out faster without adding any extra water from the tap. In the same way, we get more out of our voice without adding more effort and pressure. This twang sound in itself is piercing and bright, yet very easy to produce. You can find it by imitating a witch or a duck sound. Or it is not a nasal sound, although it can be made partially nasally, especially when practicing, but nasal sound is more like dampening the voice, whereas this twang sound will bring this brightness and piercing tone. When we practice this twang sound, it will not sound pretty at all. And these twang exercises are not supposed to be the end goal for your voice, just your vocal drills to improve your technique and strengthening your voice. When you learn to access this tool in your voice, you can slightly add it to your singing voice depending on your style and sound aesthetic preferences. So it is completely up to you how much twang you want to add in the end. The benefits of practicing twang, besides giving more power to your voice, are improving your sound quality and vocal fold closure, as well as being able to sing with less effort. There are also voice qualities that require significant amount of twang or this AES narrowing, and these qualities are belting, which means that really loud sound in the higher notes, and also in the opera quality. Very strong AES narrowing or vocal twang is often heard in soul singers' voices and musical theater singing. Before we get started, have a little think of your own voice when speaking and singing to identify whether you have naturally twang in your voice or whether you don't. If your voice is very soft and quiet and perhaps breathy, it is likely that you don't naturally have that much twang in your voice. And if your voice is more on the louder side or sounds really bright and non-breathy, you might have some amount of natural twanginess in your voice. It also depends on your accent and your language, and certain languages or accents have more twang naturally in the voice. Note that whether you have it or don't have it naturally is neither good or bad. It just gives you an indicator on how patient you need to be when doing these exercises, because if it is completely a new type of way of producing the sound, it might take a little bit more time for you to get used to producing this type of sound. And if you naturally have it in your voice, this might be very, very easy for you. Even if it's not naturally in your voice and you find these exercises super difficult, just be very patient and kind to yourself when practicing, and over time, with mindful practice, this will definitely pay off. Remember not to do anything that feels uncomfortable, that feels scratchy or ticklish in your voice or make you cough. Now we're going to practice the twang sound without discomfort or tension. So this is the main thing. So spend as much time as you need to on this first exercise. Now there are multiple sound prompts that you can try and see what feels the most comfortable for you to explore this twangy sound. And these sounds are the duck sound, wah wah, or the witch sound, or the cat sound, meow, or a baby cry, wah, or the nya sound, nya, nya. So you can try all of these and see what kind of gets you closest to this bright and piercing sound that doesn't feel forced. Again, don't do anything that feels uncomfortable, scratches or tickles your throat or makes you cough. You know that you're doing something a little bit off there. There's something with your technique that you need to correct if this happens. So then just stop, take a little pause, try again. And if by the third attempts you feel these uncomfortable sensations, then stop practicing this exercise. As you explore this sound, also pay attention to your belly. Make sure that your belly is relaxed as you produce the sound, and no gripping or pulling inwards with your stomach. So try to keep your abdominal muscles as relaxed as possible. You also don't have to breathe in a lot of air, and make sure that you don't push a lot of air out. We don't need a lot of air for this sound. And also, the third thing to remember is our false vocal fold retraction. In other words, that open sensation in your throat. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out this video. Now that you have tried all of these sounds, pick your favorite one and explore with that sound on different pitches. So I'm gonna use the duck sound. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, wah. Or if I would pick the cat sound, meow, 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 meow. And take the pause, make sure that your belly is relaxed. Or if I would pick the nya sound, nya, 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 nya. Note if there is any kind of constriction happening. So if this happens, or the sound doesn't come out clear and easy, you know that, okay, maybe I need to focus a little bit more on that open sensation, and then remember those prompts for the false vocal fold retraction. So think about something really funny or listening something behind you. It's really important that you find a way to produce this sound in a comfortable way so that it feels easy. Wah! Wah! Try not to stretch the notes too long when you are starting out, just short, bright, piercing sounds. Also, because this sound in itself is really, really loud, try not to make it loud. It automatically is loud. You don't have to force it to be loud. Are you able to make it even more comfortable for yourself? Could you reduce some effort as you are producing this sound and still being able to produce this sound? How easy can you make it for yourself to do this sound? It's important to remember that although this sound is very piercing and bright and gives you power and loudness to your voice, this sound feels very easy to make when things fall into place, but it may take some exploring and patience to get there. Also note that these exercises do not sound pretty, and this may trigger some feelings of shame in nervous singers if you are not used to making funny noises. This is extremely common. Take pauses to do little wiggles, walk around, take deep breaths. If you feel overwhelmed or frustrated, to avoid any unnecessary constriction. As you do different types of exercises, you will slowly get used to it and learn to allow yourself to explore without having to sound great. It is a vital part of vocal practice to sound bad or weird sometimes, and being okay with that. This is the way that we learn new things with our voice, and it doesn't define your voice. Now let's take this twang practice and practice with a melody of a song. It would be helpful if this song is something that's very familiar to you, so that you don't have to think about the correct notes too much. So then you're able to focus more on this twang sound. And if I would use Valerie and a little bit in the beginning of the song, and I would choose my favorite one of these twang sounds, I could use the wah wah sound. It would sound like this. Wah 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 wah. So I'm not trying to stretch the notes. I'm just adding a wah sound for each syllable. And you can go through one part at a time with this sound, but make sure that you still pay attention to relaxing your belly, making sure that there's no unnecessary tension building up in your voice. So rather, perhaps a little reset when you start, and then do one phrase, then a little break, little reset. You can do your little wiggles to release any unnecessary tension, and then do the next phrase. So it could look like this. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, wah, wah. And whilst I'm doing this, I'm also thinking, can I make it even more bright and piercing? And can I make it easier? Can I reduce the effort in the outcoming air? I don't need a lot of air. I don't have to gasp some big breaths. So pay attention to what you are doing as you are practicing this exercise. Now that you have established your twang sound and you can easily access this sound in a comfortable way, knowing how it feels, we are going to add this twang to your voice so that you can learn to add that into your singing. We're going to use the phrase "no way" and adding twang to your voice. The easiest way to do this is to say this phrase in a little bit complaining manner, like a little kid complaining. So have a little bit of fun with that. Or you can just think about that sound sound that you made in the first exercise and trying to bring that same vibe into this sound by first using the twang sound and then repeating this phrase no way, but trying to maintain the same quality. Okay, let's practice together. So the no way with twang, and you can try that with different pitches. No way, no way. So without twang, no way, no way, no way. And notice that still it should feel easy, no scratchiness, no tension. So make sure that you keep your belly relaxed as you're exploring with this phrase, and make sure that you have that feeling of space in your vocal tracts by retracting your false vocal folds. We don't want any false vocal fold constriction there. So we don't want that blocked voice. So you can unlock by retracting your false vocal folds. And again, check out this video if you have no idea what I'm talking about. You should explore using those false vocal fold retraction prompts like silent laugh or listening something behind you before you try this sound. So first finding that openness with the silent laughter, or listening something behind you, or both, and then no way, it kind of opens up the sound. And when you feel pretty comfortable finding this twangy quality into this phrase, we can also try to go through the melody of the song using way with this twangy quality. So going a little bit closer to singing your song with twang. Whilst doing this exercise, pay attention to what sensations you have in your body and overdo the twanginess. This is still not necessarily the sound that you want to make eventually. The aim here is to really get familiar with this sound and how you can add it. It's almost easier to take away from your voice if you want a less twangy sound. Although you may find some interesting sounds that you actually like when you explore with this twangy sound. And now let's try a little bit of that melody with the way sounds, adding a lot of that twang. So if I have the Valerie, Amy Winehouse, way, 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 way. So you can explore with this sound. And note, my song is quite low actually, so it might be easier for you to find your twang sound a little bit higher. So just pick a melody and sing it a little bit higher than what I'm doing here. And if you lose the twanginess altogether, you can go back to the previous exercise and try first with the twangy sound and then try this amazing work today. Practice consistently and come back to your practice 3 to 5 times a week to see and feel your voice getting clearer and stronger by each month. Short sessions are often more effective, and you can make sure that you stay focused and aware of the sensations in your body. If you found these twang exercises today impossible and you have a very breathy or tense voice, it is really important for you to then practice first your vocal fold closure and retracting your false vocal folds, so finding that open sensation in your throat before diving into these twang exercises. For my next video, I will have a special treat for you, as I will do these same exercises with my best friend who is a beginner singer who's never tried any twang exercises before. If you want to keep building your confidence and learning more about your amazing voice with me, don't forget to subscribe to my channel Sing with Mimi and hit the like button if you found this video helpful. Keep singing and sharing your singing journey with me in the comments of my videos. I love reading about your experiences, and I will see you back here soon. Bye now. Bye bye bye.